Hi, my name is Moya, and this is my 2026 Capstone project. Ever since I was younger, I had an immense passion for music, storytelling, as well as acting. As in elementary school, I joined stroke choir, as well as listening to music and dancing around with my sister, and I also had an immense interest in movies. I decided for this project to create a music video as well as recreate a song to accompany it. The question that I used to guide me was how can I use visual storytelling to help enhance the meaning of a song? The song that I ended up choosing was Mind Loaded by Blood Orange. The reason that I chose the song was because I always had an immense connection to it. The song lyrics to me mean having such strong, clouded emotions that you end up pushing away the ones that you love, leaving you with a feeling of loneliness and emptiness. I've always been inspired by the music and music videos of Blood Orange. I find that he uses a very abstract way of storytelling to help convey the messages through his songs, and also he uses a variety of different shots and coloring that I think helps further portray the storytelling message he's trying to show. He also uses a variety of different coloring and shots to help portray his overall message. The equipment that I use for this project is the Canon EOS M6 Mark II, which I'm currently filming on, as well as a variety of different lenses. The next one that I used was the Canon 50mm lens with the Voltron mount adapter, which I used for my more focused and up-close shots. Next thing I used was the EFS 18-135mm image stabilizer, which I used for my extreme close-up shots. For this project, I decided to challenge myself by incorporating a variety of different shots in my film. I decided to use extreme wide shot, extreme close-up shot, over the shoulder, over the hip, as well as a focus shot. Another piece of equipment that I used was the Scorpion Jr. This helped me stabilize the camera as I was filming and helped give me a more steady hand during the more complex shots with my actors, like when one of my actors was running. Now I'm going to show you the process of me recreating the song. My passion for music was really heavily influenced by my sister. Growing up, I was always around the music she listened to. She introduced me to different artists, genres, and styles, things I probably would not have found on my own. Whether it's hearing music in the car, trading playlists, or catching her singing along to songs at home, music turned into something that we bonded over and somehow became part of my everyday routine. Whether it be walking to school or in between classes, I was always listening to music. One example of this is when my sister would show me songs that matched different moods or how she was feeling. That helped me also associate the lyrics with the songs into different feelings and helped me inspire me to create this project. In these clips, I'm giving my actors directions on where I want them to go and how to accurately get the lighting I'm trying to capture. It seems like a simple endeavor, but ended up taking way longer than I thought. It took a lot to work with the sun because we limited time with the daytime. I wanted to try and emulate the same sort of lighting and style that Blood Orange had in his music videos. It creates a sort of sunny atmosphere with a warm orange glow tinted throughout the videos, which is why I wanted it to be near sunset time. We started by the waterfront in Steveston. I wanted this scene to be a sort of introductory scene. You can see the actors and their dynamic with each other. One challenge that I faced while filming this scene was because I was trying to hit a certain storyline, but I was unable to give the actors words. How I overcame this was using body language and lighting cues to capture emotion throughout the video. Here I was using my default camera setup, as well as the stabilizers that I could get the right angles. I didn't want this to be a close-up shot because I wanted you to be able to see the entire actor's body. However, it does transition into a wide shot when Anna walks across the camera, dragging Abby behind her after this scene. In this clip here, it's just me adjusting the camera settings according to the lighting as well as where the actors are placed, making sure everything's set up for the filming process. I adjusted the exposure as well as the filters on the camera and the aspect ratio to make sure that everything was perfect. Here in this clip, as you can see, I'm trying to get a general idea as to where I want Abby and Anna to be sitting. Also, is what I want them to be doing in the scene. I want it to be like Abby was a bit more distant than Anna, and that Anna was kind of trying to grasp onto an idea of a person that wasn't really there anymore. In this clip, you can see me practicing the motion a few times so I can get Anna to walk across the screen as perfect as possible. I wanted her to block the camera for a split second so you could get more involved in the experience. In this clip, I get up-close shots of Anna as well as Abby off camera so I can meet my requirements for all of my shots. The reason I chose this plot specifically as an up-close of their faces is because I want the viewer to be able to have a deeper sense of emotion while watching this video. Here's the beginning of the music making process. I'd used before applications like GarageBand or BandLab throughout my time in high school, but to challenge myself for this project, I decided to use the application Logic Pro, which is a bit more advanced. I started by getting the main melody ready by inputting it using the score tool, and then also making some minor adjustments. I first added the treble melody, and then I added the bass melody right after, and repeated it throughout the song. A challenge for me during this process was making sure that all of the notes that were sharp, and that needed to be flat were flat. For some reason in Logic Pro, it's extremely time-consuming and difficult to change a note from its flat version to its original version when you previously adjusted the key signature of the bar. I also tested out many different synths in the Logic Pro app to try and find the best fit for this song. The next thing that I did was input the violin sounds from the song. This part was also particularly challenging because it was extremely difficult to hear the notes by ear in the song because of how many different instruments were playing at the time. I made a rough estimate of what I think the notes are, and I'm pretty proud of how it came out. I started by finding a violin sound that I liked, I thought was heavy enough but not overpowering for the song, and then I used the piano roll tool to input the notes. Here in this clip, I'm just adding some extra overlay with the piano and violin, as well as the percussion for this part of the song. Now on this part, I duplicate the main synth, adding over as a different instrument, an acoustic guitar as well as a piano. After this is done, most of the instrumental is completed, so I moved on to adding the vocals. I recorded using my headphones connected to my computer and layered the vocals in some areas. After that, I made a few adjustments to the vocals and the song was complete. I thought that the whole process was incredibly interesting to create and that I learned a lot about song-making process and also was able to further my ability in playing by ear as well as general music composition. I also decided to add some vocal effects as to not make my voice so flat. The next thing that I did was move on to the video editing process. I started editing with my mentor, Mobilogy, who is my sister. The reason I chose her as my mentor is because she was chosen for a documentary program and actually spent the better part of the year last year creating a documentary about improv. This documentary is also shown at film festivals across Canada. She's also the main inspiration for this project, which is why it felt right to include her in the process. In this clip, she's guiding me on how to put the clips together and make a more seamless, cohesive piece. I believe that her expertise and experience in filmmaking and editing really helped me with this entire project. I layered my version of the song on top of the song, and then my project was complete. A challenge I faced during this part of the process was trying to sync all of the cuts to the beats in the song, as well as sorting through all of the footage that I'd filmed. This made me appreciate more the time and effort it takes to put together a video even in such a small scale. I also wanted to make sure that I showed my essential question during this video, I made sure that the storyline seemed complete and aligned with the vision that I was trying to make. I also made sure to play around with a bunch of different filters and coloring throughout the video. In conclusion, I think that I learned a lot of new skills that were beneficial to me in the future if I didn't intend to pursue a career in music and or filmmaking, or even just to keep it as my hobby. I believe that I gained a lot of insight not only from my mentor, but also from the challenges that I faced and having to overcome during this whole process. I believe that I created a piece that effectively captured a story between two girls finding themselves, and all they want to do is escape. And thank you so much for watching my capstone video.